And I can say welcome to cinema, life, and everything. I almost keep saying slouching towards masculinity, but that's not a thing anymore. We're on the other one now. So, yeah, before we get going, would you like to introduce yourself and tell the viewers, either listeners or people watching on YouTube, a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Ayla Devall. I am a stunt in training, SPACT, dancer, singer, all those above, performing arts, and met the lovely Phil on one of the sets that we've worked on before. So yeah, mother of 4, husband, all that jazz. Just trying to in training at the minute. So just trying to work my little ass off in those.
Was it the one where we were storming the school? Was that the first time we met? That's the one I always remember. That was yeah.
And you were stood right next to me and you were like, and I was like, yes, go on.
You got to enjoy it. It's the little things, like being out and running and no one yells cut, so you're actually almost physically running after like child actors. Brilliant times.
Yeah, fun times. I even got COVID on that set actually.
Oh, better memories. The gift that keeps on giving, right?
Yeah, literally. Yeah, it's been so fun. This world that I've become a part of, and just meeting loads of people and stuff. It's brilliant.
I was going to say as well, because one thing that really interests me about you is that you are not wearing one hat, so to speak. You do all the. I always love it when someone's multi-hyphened, so they're not just a stunt person, you know, like you say, a singer, a dancer, all stuff like this as well. Do you ever see any? And I always love asking this. Do you ever see any sort of commonalities, or do you see any differences in what you do, or is it sort of like as one? Do you just sort of flow from one thing to the next? Like, oh, that looks interesting. I'll give that a go.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. I literally see something, I'm like, oh, that looks really cool. Let me try that. I just want to be a person that has multi-talents, but there's just so many things we can do in these areas, literally. Like, you want to do archery? Yeah, I'll do archery. You want to ride a horse? Yeah, I'll do that. I don't mind. But it's hard to keep track of everything that I do, to be fair. It really is.
That's the fun. You never know, sort of, sometimes when you wake up in the morning and what you're going to be today, you know, albeit a role on set, or actually what part of your skill set is required of that day of you and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
Do you ever, sorry, I was going to say as well, like, do you ever find things that wouldn't normally occur? Like, one thing that always got me was breath holds, and then when you have to do like a fall or something like that, and the way you brace. Do you ever sort of get anything like things like, I don't know, through singing or dance, and it goes into another area of stunts or something else you do, and you wouldn't really think there'd be many similarities there, but there actually are? Have you ever come across them at all?
Dancing is the thing that I get told I do.
Bodyguard.
So when I do stances for like swords or weapons and stuff like that, I tend to have the posture and everything as a dancer instead of getting into my
yeah.
But I try, and obviously it's really hard sometimes to if I dance for a bit and then go back to the swords, it's hard to differentiate the two. But I do manage to do it in the end. It's just concentrating on the knees and just being more rugged instead of being ready to dance.
But the funny thing is, with some of the Chinese martial arts films and stuff as well, especially when it's wire work, I do see there's a real level of grace and stuff to it. So there are some very sort of dynamic, open movements that lend themselves to dance. And, you know, and not everything. I mean, yeah, I get this as well, like with Rocky or whatever, where your chin's down and stuff. But then even that's a good one. You look at, sorry, no offense to Sylvester Stallone, but you look at the early Rockies and stuff, their guards down by their waist. They're like swinging like they're trying to shut car doors. And it's like, what? I don't even know what that is. But whatever works, I guess.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a difficult one, but I do get there in the end. I do it in the end.
Right then, so we've got, God, I'm Cockney today. Right, so we got 3 films today.
It's just because I'm so northern that you are so Cockney.
I'm matching it.
You're right, mate. Phil, go on then. Let's start. It'd be different.
Doing my auditions for EastEnders, aren't I? Anyway, right. So, what 3 films have you got today? Then, where are we going to explore?
All right. So this was difficult for me. I'm not going to lie, because I'm like I'm an action artist, so I love loads of action movies. But these are just ones that have really resonated with me over time. So, Little Mermaid,
Amazing.
because it's just my favourite childhood movie, and I've probably watched it over 1,000 times. It's got to be over 1,000, and I never get bored.
Have you do you what you make your children watch it as well? Do your children into it as well? Brilliant.
Yeah. We'll watch this. No, I don't want to. No, we will. I just have to say, this is actually on my desk at home.
Oh, Ariel, nice, fair play.
And let's just show the mandala Ariel tattoo.
Incredible, right? So that was always going to be on the choice of 3 without any sort of hesitation there at all. Yeah. And the other 2 are really good, interesting too as well as it goes.
Yeah. So Maverick,
amazing,
complete opposite, but it's amazing. And then the Notebook.
The Notebook. So where would you like to start?
We could start with The Little Mermaid if you want.
I got no troubles with that at all. Recently been updated. I've not seen it yet, but I don't think it's been released yet. But the live action version, which is interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but yeah. So why The Little Mermaid?
It comes out tomorrow.
Right.
It comes out tomorrow, which I am really excited about. It's just when they remake the movies, I do feel like they have to be the exact same.
Yes.
You can't change anything. Sometimes
like the Lion King.
Yeah, like the Lion King. I don't mind the added extras and stuff. Like, obviously, there's been a lot of controversy about her skin colour, which I didn't think was a problem at all, because I think for a character, I think anybody should be able to play her.
Yeah, and also it's a cartoon. It started off as a cartoon. I think brilliant. You want to change bits of it, exactly. Yeah. I don't get that at all.
Yeah. So, but it resonates with me a lot. And as a child, I used to watch it all the time. I just loved the fairy tale. Where I love the songs in it, comedy in it. It's just a really funny, loving movie. And I love love. I love all the romance and stuff that comes with these Disney movies. They're amazing.
I just think that was at a point when Disney could do no wrong. They were like whacking it out of the park every single time. Like Mulan, I loved. What I've got, The Lion King as well. The music was perfect, and even though you've always got the merchandise and stuff alongside it, and the fact is, like, if you like the film, they'll buy the toy. There was real heart to all of these. The voice acting was impeccable. Yeah, and I think it's I don't know if you feel about this as well, but because it was standard animation as opposed to completely gone to computer generated, it lends it a sort of charm? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think you're right with that. I think this is why I probably will struggle when I watch the next one, because I love I love the cartoon versions of the Disney movies. I just think I don't know, it's so difficult to say, because I'm like so excited to watch it.
Yeah.
I also don't want to change a movie that I've absolutely loved as a child.
And I like say, for me with The Lion King, I loved it, but for me that wasn't Simba, so I was a bit like, I just remember how he used to look, and it was amazing. It was like almost photorealistic lion, but for me it was like, it just wasn't the same.
The cartoon is just cute. They just look cuter, like Simba and Nala looked really, really cute and stuff. So, but they're not so cute. It's not as cute now.
But, I mean, but have they? Sorry, one thing I don't notice. Have they, like, obviously they've probably got new voice actors. Have they re-recorded all the songs, or have they got complete new
songs with the actors again? Haven't looked completely into it yet, but I know that I've seen the adverts and the trailers. They've kept the same songs as I can see so far. And what was I going to say? I have these thoughts where I like have a train of thought and then I just
say me all the time. That's why you do multiple jobs. Trust me, I'm exactly the same with that.
That's it. You just forget that. Like, oh, go on to the next.
What was I doing today? I don't know. I'll do this now. I'm going to chase after children. I'll do. Wasn't even going to be on that set. But one thing I was going to mention as well is so the original story of The Littlest Mermaid is quite a dark one, from the Hans Christian Andersen. Imagining where, like, her feet start to bleed every time she stays on land for too long, so it sort of ends it. But going almost, that wish for being someone different, but also not being able to go against your nature, but also that the wonderful resounding thing of love will conquer all and stuff.
Yeah.
Viewing it as a child and then viewing it as an adult, did you get different messages from it, or do you feel the way you respond to it has changed at all? Is it still just nostalgia?
I just feel like as more I've grown up with it, so I think I've gone through all these stages, and you're right, I definitely read into it a lot more than I did. I understand it a lot more than I did as a kid.
Yeah.
And yeah, she choice, that's difficult choice, that.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is.
Back then, when I watched it as a kid, I was like, oh no, that's an easy choice to make. But now that's a really difficult choice to make. I don't know if I could do it. Would I be able to go from land to sea, even though I'm petrified of it? I don't know.
But for love.
For love, could I do it? Maybe. So yeah, I think it has changed over the years, my feelings towards it.
That's brilliant. And so with terms of the music and stuff as well, this was the thing that I really got about Disney, that it told it on those two levels. So as an adult, you can watch it and you can see how your children react to it, and then getting the feeling of and then you can remember how you used to react to it as well. So it plays on two levels. And also I think music is so important to take you back to a place in your life. You're back there, and that's where Disney smashed it out of the park as well. The songs are so memorable. Like as soon as I hear Under the Sea, I'm there,
Yeah, me too. Like I will listen to that stuff while I'm cooking, while I'm cleaning.
Yes.
My boy actually they had a coronation thing at school, and they had the Lion King, and I swear they started singing, the whole school started singing Can't Wait to Be King. And I watching my son sing that song. That's how emotional I was. It was like, he was like, just can't wait to be king. And I was just like, oh. I wasn't even bothered about that part, but just seeing him sing it, it's and watching all my kids grow up and sing the same songs as me is lovely with the Disney. I really do. Even my eldest son, who is 16, will still sit. He won't like me saying this online. But he will sit and watch Princess and the Frog with me and Little Mermaid and stuff like that. But he loves it too because it's his memory and stuff. So
how are you feeling about the newer ones now? I mean, not just the remakes, but what Disney, and this is not like a burial of Disney. It's like, how do you feel about how animation and the kids' films are going now? They seem to be going for a real sort of weird space. Like I saw Puss in Boots: The Last Wish the other month, and I was like, that was really good. But they seem to be,
changing. So realistic, and I think what's going to happen, I think that eventually it's going to be, they're trying to make everything realistic, aren't they?
Yes.
And eventually they're going to go back to the original cartoon because they're the classics, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think they are moving up in the world and making everything so realistic, but then someone's just going to bring it back and bring an amazing cartoon back, even more cute and even more amazing. I think we're just that time, aren't we, where people want to see it advance with the kids, but really eventually it's going to go back to the original. I feel it could.
No, and this is a really interesting point as well, because I would love to get your take on this as well, because with technology advancing, and it's like, oh, we've got computer generated actors now, or digital de-aging, or with deep fake on the voices, or chat CPT, or whatever you want to call it, and we're gonna disappear. Like there won't be any need for actors or stunts or anything anymore. But I think it's almost like saying when people were painting pictures, and as soon as the moving picture came along, people were like, well, we don't ever need to paint another portrait again. That just won't exist anymore. And there is the right art for the right sort of entertainment. And I've always found the Lion King and the Littlest Mermaid, when you're watching it and it's hand drawn, and there's just things you can do with animation that you can't do with CGI and you can't do with live action, that makes it unique into that. And I don't know, maybe it's the years we grew up in, but just seeing it as animation, it just hits different.
Yeah, definitely hits different. I love putting an old classic on with the car. I love it. And all these kids now, some of them are like, oh, what's that? No, it's original. It's not YouTube crap. Honestly, sorry, mind my language.
That's all right, crap's fine.
Original cartoons or anything like that anymore. It's quite scary time. So it might have to be like, no, we're watching a movie. We're going to watch the original stuff here.
I think it would, like I say, it's like saying that no one would ever watch a black and white film or anything again, or an older film from the 50s. A classic is a classic for a reason, and people will go back and revisit simply because that is the way you're meant to see it. I've got to be honest. I don't know how you guys. unless it's a merchandising opportunity, I don't really see the point of remakes. If you're remaking a classic, it was a classic for a reason. So what's the need to reimagine it? It's perfect the way it was.
Yeah, no, that's the thing that I do struggle with sometimes. And I'm like, I do get excited for these, and sometimes I get disappointed in them, in remakes, and sometimes I'm like, no. But I like the decision to be like, no, do you know what? I'm still going to stick to the original. I still love that just as much as I did before. It's nice to watch the other
Yes.
ones, but they don't sit with me like the other ones do.
I watched The Lion King and I was very impressed by it. Like some of the fur effects, and I'm like, Jesus, that's like unbelievable. But I went back and watched the original one because it's Jeremy Irons. The bit when I always remember the first time I saw it was in the cinema, and when Scar digs the claws in and falls to his death. Sorry, spoilers. And the cinema was silent, and we heard this one kid in the front or second row, could have only been about less than 10, just went, he just killed his brother. And like you just heard his childhood go, and I was like, Jesus.
In the cinema.
In the cinema as well. Like, good luck with that. That's a nightmare for a few years, isn't it?
Traumatized.
Yeah.
Traumatized.
Put that one on TikTok.
Much easier.
Because I mean, that's the thing. Even in the Littlest Mermaid and stuff as well with Ursula, there's some real dark bits, and then they're not frightened to go there. And I don't know if that's something with current cinema. Actually, no, because watching some current films now, I think maybe they're going even further for children, but they're not frightened to explore the nature of loss, the redemption, evil, good.
Yeah.
The battles between the two, finding your true nature and calling. I think they're all, like I say, as a kid you watch them, and I think you can, like you said, you can answer a little bit more. Yeah, that's what I do. But then as you get a bit used to grow up it, you're like, oh, but what if? But suddenly it becomes a lot harder.
I am intrigued actually, because do you know who's playing Ursula in the new Little Mermaid?
No, I don't.
Melissa McCarthy.
Interesting.
And I love Melissa McCarthy, and she's a comedian actor, isn't she? So
yeah.
Hearing this, I think I've watched pretty much most of her movies, and I found them all good. I find her hilarious. But I'm intrigued to see how she plays this character. It looks good, but we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. Like, and I did watch the trailer, and I'm always, I think things can always look great in trailers. But now let's extend it. Let's sit there for the whole running time, and let's see if it all hangs together. But fingers crossed. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. Me too.
Where would you like to go next? We have the Gosling McAdams classic, or Tom Cruise the movie. What would you like to go to next?
Let's do Maverick.
Yeah.
I like Maverick.
We're talking about nostalgia and stuff again as well, and I think this is one of the few that actually beat the original and got people back in the cinema.
Yeah, honestly, I was like blown away when I'd actually downloaded the album before I'd even watched any of it.
Oh.
Because I've always loved backing tracks and all the theme songs to me, especially when they're good. I was watching it again to see, and all the scenes with the music in the background, it just brings you into it as well.
Yeah.
Like I feel that with it, but I just love it. I love a movie that you can watch over and over again and still get those same feelings in. Even though I know what's going to happen, I'm still like, yes. So
in fact, in a way, it's even better because you know what's going to happen, so you get excited for when it happens.
Yeah. Even though there's some like little doubt, I'm like, is it going to go? Even though it does go the same, I'm like, oh.
He might not make the ridge this time. Pull up, Tom.
I love the fact that Miles Teller, I think they picked a good actor to play his son. I thought that was amazing. Rooster, sorry.
Is it?
No,
he's Goose.
He is good. He's Rooster in it, but he's
sorry. Yeah. No.
I thought Miles Teller again. I think he's an amazing actor. Really good. Watched a lot of his movies recently. And I think they picked really good people to be part of it, and what they had to do for the movie.
Actually learning to fly.
Yeah, I'd do it. You'd have to go out of your comfort zone completely and utterly and be thrown at deep end, but I would totally do that to be in that.
Oh yeah. It's like Top Gun too. But I think for me, it did fan service, but it didn't rely on it. And also there are some films that they've brought into the present where they make the main character apologize for who they used to be, but Maverick was still Maverick. He went on an arc, but he was still the guy that you recognize. They hadn't tried to change his character completely. And I think that made it was easy to get on board very, very quickly.
Yeah, and I think it's really nice watching actors play all these different characters and be able to stick to that same one when it's been like how many years later?
Yeah. 30 years or a long time.
I'll tell you a little story without going into it too much, because we're not allowed to say certain things. But I met Tom Cruise.
Oh wow.
And he is amazing. He's nice. And we somebody bought him a card. It was a card.
Yeah.
And at the end of a show that we'd moved with him, and I put in the card, if needed for future stunts, call me.
Nice.
So I just thought I'd throw that in there, but it was really interesting. I changed my number since then, so I wish I'd kept it.
Oh no, he could have been calling.
Done. But yeah, it was nice. I think that's probably why I wanted to watch it more and see him, because I've seen him, play a different character again. And watching somebody that you've seen and you've met, it's just crazy. It's weird world, but really good.
I think as well with his acting in it as well. Tom Cruise is really good, but sometimes when someone is that level of movie star, they're almost overlooked for what they bring. It's like, oh, you're just being Tom Cruise. You're just being a movie star. But there are certain. Sorry,
he's a badass.
He's
still doing his stunts, like.
And there's just bits in that as well, like when he's talking to Jennifer Connelly's character, when he has to talk to Miles Teller to apologize for the death of his dad and stuff. His scene with Val Kilmer, absolutely incredible work.
Yeah, definitely. And just the action part, even the part with when they're just flying, it's got it all. It's got it all, the music, the theme, the story. Yeah, I could watch that over and over again, definitely.
I just remember going to see it for the first time, and my mate was sitting like 2 chairs down. And even before Danger Zone kicked in, just when the initial credits come up and they go, and they call it Top Gun, and that it kicks in, I just looked at my mate and he was already crying, and I was like, yeah, it got me as well.
The first I did cry, and when I watched it again towards the end I was crying, because it's just the emotion it makes you feel. And I love those kind of songs as well, like a bit of 80s, bit of that. I love it.
I'll hold my hand up. Actually, it actually almost sounds like a pun now. Hold my hand. I was all right throughout the film, but then on the way home, I put "Hold My Hand" by Gaga on my car stereo, and it choked me up. I was like, oh.
I wasn't expecting that.
It got me on the end credits, just as I'd relaxed. Do you think they'll do a third one?
I don't think there's any need to do a third one. Would it be interesting to see a third one? Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Christopher McQuarrie, who does the filming. They film very interestingly, though. Nice guy, but they film very interestingly. It takes a long time for these things to but it's worth it. This is the thing. I think they've made good movies, so it's like, why not? Maybe it could be about Rooster and not have Tom Cruise in it at all, and just make a spin. I don't know. It's difficult, because I'd like to see another one.
Yeah.
Maybe have Miles Teller as the main character. You never know.
They could do it, I guess. Yeah, but would people miss Tom Cruise? There'd be a big Tom Cruise shaped hole in it. So.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a difficult one. I'd say no. Then I think they should just leave it at that with the Top Guns.
I think it's very rare. Like I think maybe Terminator 2, off the top of my head, is the only film that's improved on the original. And Top Gun Maverick did, in my opinion, as well. And I wouldn't want it to feel like, oh, you're just cashing in now. But then again, I don't know about you. Was that like after lockdown, one of the first films you went to see in the cinema, or had you been a bit before?
I was dying to see it in the cinema, but I didn't even get a chance to see it at the cinema. So I'd had to wait. I'd wait for it to come out and watched it, and we got a big screen anyway. So made everyone be quiet, and we watched it. So yeah,
I think it resurrected cinema. Really, it got that was the first one that I can remember where people were going back to see it multiple times, where it became like an event. Yeah. So I don't know.
Jealous I didn't get to see it in the cinema, to be fair, but yeah,
I'm sure at some point during the summer they'll do a summer screening. It became almost like, it wasn't like a party, but it was almost like going to see a boxing match. Like people were going there, having a few, like a couple of beers, and then going to see it. It was just like a real event movie. Like you're turning up to see a show.
I love it. I love it.
Do you have a favourite scene from the second one?
Oh, when they play volleyball.
Oh!
I'm joking. It's a good scene, but I'm joking. I think the bit when they get to the nitty gritty and they're doing the flying scene, and that's intense. It's very intense.
Feel the G-force, man. That is serious. And I was holding my breath. I think people in the cinema were like taking it seriously. Even though it's a film, you're like, it gets you in there. But the Val Kilmer scene as well, I think was perfectly judged.
Yeah, definitely needed that. He needed that little kick up the butt there, I think, to get his issues sorted, I think, there. But yeah, seeing Val Kilmer in it was, good. Shame that he didn't. He had a little bit of a line, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Line. Yeah.
But one thing I was going to say, so that director, he actually directed Tom Cruise in a film back in the day called Oblivion, which I hadn't seen. And I think it was at that point when Tom Cruise wasn't getting the hits that he had been, but then he sort of he got into Mission Impossible and stuff. But that is one that if you've not seen it, it's really worth checking out. It's an interesting film.
Seen it once, I think, but I need to watch it again because I can't remember it.
Do you have any other Tom Cruise faves at all, or is it tricky to pick another one out?
You know what? I like The Mummy. I like him in that. I did. I like him in all these Mission Impossibles. Obviously, that's it's Tom Cruise, but I liked his character in The Mummy. I thought it was really funny.
I loved Russell Crowe in that as well.
Yeah. I thought it was actually really good. It was completely different from I didn't know if they were gonna like follow on from the other Mummy or if it was gonna be completely different. So seeing it, I loved it. Absolutely loved that movie. Can't really think of there's Mission Impossibles, obviously.
So many.
All them. Can't really think of another one. I'm like,
Yeah, like I think for me, Magnolia is always, but he's part of a giant cast and that. But I always loving that. But that's the fact. Tom Cruise for me is almost very much like a Denzel Washington. Like if you put on a film with him, it's like you know what you're getting, and there's just a level of quality that they never dip from, and they know themselves. They know how I'd say Denzel even more so, that just the way. Yeah, just incredible. Just the level of quality, and same, like I say, the same. My voice must be behind. Same with Maverick as well. Like it's like about half an hour into it, I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, I get this. It's like there's such a confidence in the filmmaking, and this story is going to be told exactly as it needs to be. Same with the Mission Impossibles. You know where you're at.
Exactly. So it was a brilliant movie. I will be watching it maybe another 1,000 times over.
Amazing. And I'll be listening to the Lady Gaga song and crying in my car. Anyway.
Yeah.
So talking about crying in my car, probably one of the hardest films I had to watch. Someone else selected this a while ago, and I was like, I'm not going to watch it again because it will crush me again. But The Notebook, what an absolutely incredible film. It is a secret pleasure of mine. I actually love this one.
I remember it must have been about a good 10 years ago now. And somebody said, have you ever seen The Notebook? I was like, no, never seen it. And I watched it and I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And then I ended up working with, I've been working with people now for like about over 5 years now, where I've actually worked with people with Alzheimer's and dementia.
Wow.
It's, again, another film that resonates with me. So I've watched that movie quite a few times because I've seen it in real life that happens. So I know it's so sad, but it happens, and it's I know. Don't worry. There's been many times I've cried over it.
But I mean, again, it's a story about love triumphing, and just that the hope. In a way, there's a few parallels with it. It's like more of a grown-up version of The Little Mermaid and stuff as well. Going back to a place and time where they can be together. And sorry, spoilers here if you haven't seen it. We're going to probably tread on this quite hard now, but if you've listened to another one of the podcast, you've heard about it anyway.
You need to watch it if you haven't. It's an absolute brilliant movie. And if you love, what an amazing movie. I love their relationships they've got as well. Kind of reminds me of me and my husband.
Oh.
We love each other, but we have a little bit of it to do, and then you make up. Then it's good.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's one thing I really loved about it as well. It was there was an honesty about it, like and the acting. It wasn't just one of these. A lot of the time, a lot of love films. They're going to be in love, but there's an outside factor, like there's an evil person that stops them from their pathway. But in this way, it was very true to life that the obstacles were within them. And they have to overcome their prejudices and their issues with each other, which I found really truthful and really, and really, really well acted as well, like incredibly well acted.
I think they're brilliant actors. Probably one of my favourite Ryan Gosling movies for sure, definitely. And I've seen him in a few, but but yeah, no, it's even from start to finish. I think there was like they had it on Netflix for like a certain amount of time, and I think they had like a week left of showing last August, and I think I watched it every day before it got taken off Netflix. So I thought, let me just get it in there, even though I could just get it on DVD. It's one of those. Oh, The Notebook. Let's
what it are. Yeah. And you get something from that as well, like because you watch these films multiple times, that it almost becomes background music, but you still know when to turn to look at a certain scene or something like that.
100%. My husband finds it quite strange. Not quite strange, but I'm one of those people that have always been able to repeatedly watch different movies. One of my sons and my husband they can't. I don't know why. I don't know why. I know some people. I don't ask me that if when this goes out, like tell me why people don't like to repeatedly watch movies. I'll never understand it.
But I don't know about you, but it almost because when I've got certain films that I've watched over and over again as well, and the experience almost changes. It's like saying if you listen to an album and you only ever listen to it once, I'll never need to hear that again. It becomes comforting, but also you know the beats of the story, but it's like I don't know, it becomes a different form of entertainment, and you and yourself are changing, so you'll start to view sometimes the work slightly differently. It's like the film may stay the same, but your attitude towards it may change, hence like what you said about the Little Mermaid and stuff as well.
Exactly. I was saying like Hold My Hand by Lady Gaga. I think I've listened to that already. So it's just one of them things. I think it depends what mood you're in. If I'm I know it sounds crazy, but depending on what mood I'm in, I might want to watch that movie to make me feel a little bit better, or and it changes every time. Or if I'm sad, it's probably not the best time to watch The Notebook. But it's the love part that gets me like happy, because I like seeing that the relationship build. How they met was so cute.
Yeah.
So cute. But do you think I'm gonna ask you a question now?
I'll go on him.
So long ago, do you think a remake of The Notebook, because I think it's 2004, isn't it? The Notebook. Is it 2004?
Yeah, about that. Yeah, 2002 or 2004. Yeah, I think it's 2004 according to my notes over there. Yeah, but are they remaking it?
No, I was gonna say, do you think a remake of The Notebook would be?
No. I get a little bit weird anyway when it's how do I put this? If it's like, I guess cartoons have gone that way now, but I don't like it. If it's like a franchise, and sometimes if they resurrect a franchise and they have the original character becoming more of like a teacher role, I can sort of see that. Like they did quite well with the Karate Kid and Cobra Kai and stuff like that. That can work. Indiana Jones.
I don't think it could with The Notebook.
I don't. What else would you say? That's the thing that gets me. It's like the two actors acted it impeccably, or the four actors in a way. Spoiler. The filming was perfect. The editing was perfect. There's a reason that you can watch it multiple times. There's a reason that it is a classic, and I get very. Why do you need to revisit it?
To be remade, or if they got new actors in, I don't think I'd like it because of how, like you said, how they played it so well. You want different actors. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Just don't do it. I think sometimes what's happening a little bit now, this is a thing I'd pose back to you. It's hard with The Notebook, but if they sort of say, I don't know why this comes to me, but something like Top Gun the series, and it was a series of episodes based in the Top Gun universe, and each one's a different pilot.
Oh,
You know, as how
that,
you know how would
sorry,
that.
finish your
No,
question, Phil.
no, that was it. That was it. How would you feel about something like that?
I think that would be pretty cool.
Or maybe with the Notebook, if they go into like one of the wards and they just talk, you know, each one has a different story or something like that. I think you can imagine within the universe if that, and you can use the name of the original to get people to come and watch it. But when it's just a straight up remake, I'm like, there's a reason that you're remaking it, because there was some value in the original. So why are you? It almost feels like they're pulling the skin of something over the top of something new.
Yeah,
Go, watch this now.
this. Oh God. But yeah, no, I think a little mini series probably would be quite cool. But yeah, I think just how it ended, it was it
Yeah.
was. That's it. You can't really add anything or remake that. Yeah, it's in the nicest way. Oh, I hate you when I say things like that.
I
But
don't know
yeah,
how. Yeah, how did you manage to watch that all the whole week, knowing how it was going to end every time? Because that ending hits like a ton of bricks.
it cried every time. It's obviously a really emotional week, and I needed to get the tears.
Do you find that sort of like? I mean, that's another thing as well. Finding a film of yours that is a favourite, it can be very cathartic because you know the beats of it, and it will get you into a certain emotional state. But do you also find as well that maybe something with The Little Mermaid, it takes you back to a time when you were a child, so it allows you to sort of relax out of yourself for a while as well?
Yeah, I think that's why I like those kind of movies, because it does make me just not listen to anybody else. When I'm in a movie and I'm watching it, I'm literally that's all I'm doing.
Yes.
Nothing else is distracting me. And if I love it, even more so, like that's my brain of peace, you know, not going 100 miles an hour for a change. It's time to cool down and chill and focus on that. So that's probably why I do resonate and watch those movies over again, because when I'm in it, I'm in it.
You're in it. How do you deal?
Sleep.
How do you deal with it when people are like watching a film and like doing something on a PC and on their phone all at the same time? I don't know. I can't get that. I just have.
My phone, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
got.
I've lost the interest. I think, and it's same. Well, I can only say example because he's the most person I watch the movies with. But my husband, if he's not interested, boy,
Yeah.
he will talk during the movie.
Oh no.
I will not watch movies with him now. I watch this when you're not here.
This is not working.
Yeah, and or when they're on the phone or something like that, or playing like loud music in the background while you're trying to watch. And I'm like, no.
Can you watch films on your phone? Have you got into that at all, or does it have to be a big screen?
I think because obviously certain times when I've been filming or I've been away from home and stuff like that, I've definitely learned being able to watch movies on my phone or my laptop and get in. It just depends in what environment I'm in. If we're on the sets that we've been on and there's quite a few people and everybody's a laugh and a giggle, I
Yeah.
won't watch the movie. I want to be joined. I want to join in.
Almost if you're watching a film and then someone starts checking their phone because the film's not interesting, if like the set isn't interesting, it's like, I'm gonna watch a film.
Everyone's boring on this set.
I'll
Sorry.
wait. I'll wait for them to say come to set, and then I'll get interested again. But
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most beautiful things. It's like it can be high art, it can be, or it can just be entertainment. But at the end of the day, whatever thing you choose, it's a form of escapism. You either identify with the characters or you want to be in the universe, or like you say, if you've watched it a few times, you know exactly how this is going to make you feel, and it takes you to that place. And that's
Yeah.
such a value of cinema and film and that form of art.
And I know obviously there's a super sad side, obviously, to the Notebook, but there's also an amazing side because they absolutely adored and was obsessed with each other, and that's the whole point of it. It is sad, obviously, that she has
Yeah,
Alzheimer's,
yeah.
but he keeps bringing her back. Like that's also the wonderful bit, and then they pass together, which is just in the nicest way possible. It's beautiful that they got to go together.
Yeah,
Beautiful,
geez.
bloody sad.
It's just, yeah, it's like, it's one of those ones where like you say, I think it could have been. There's some other films that I've watched that have dealt with like Alzheimer's and stuff, and there's not really much of a love thing to it, but
Yeah.
they just get relentlessly bleak. And I'm like, there's one film called Amor, weirdly, but it's not really about love. It's just super depressing. And I watched it once and I was like, and I never need to see that again. It was an amazing film, but it crushed me. But I think that deals with the nature of love and sacrifice, and like you say, two people adoring each other. But it never, this is something that I've brought up a few times. I'd love to know that these three films you've mentioned, right, they get you into a certain mood, but they never force you to feel like that. They're always judged and played really well. All right, there is bits in The Notebook and in Top Gun and in The Little Mermaid where the music kicks in and it's like, okay, this is an exciting bit, this is a sad bit, but it still doesn't force you to feel like that. There's a beautiful, delicate touch in all three films you've picked today.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Thank you.
No,
It was cool. I'm not. It was really, really difficult. I don't like horror, so that's easier going out and see. So many fun action movies out there and stuff like that I do like to watch, and ones that have really resonated with me in different ways. So it was so difficult for me to pick.
Listen, I appreciate you picking three because full disclosure here as well. Everyone that I get on this podcast, I say just pick three, and they're just looking at me going, "What?" Like one of my friends, I was talking to him the other day, and he went, "Well, that straight away, like within a second of me saying it, I'll just pick your three films." He went, "Well, that's impossible." Straight away, and I was like, he goes, "It has to be a genre." He goes, "You could ask me a director and just say pick my favorite three films from that director," and I was like, "It's fair enough. It's going to change depending on your mood, but." I think when you're sort of like forced into a box and sort of like, okay, give me the three. I love the fact you got a Disney film and stuff as well, because that shows to me real thought that you have gone back and gone, what are the ones that really spoke to me throughout my life?
Yeah, definitely. Always my top one, Little Mermaid.
Well, to get a tattoo of it, like you know you love it.
I know. You've got to love it. You've got to have tattoos you love, definitely.
Exactly. Well, listen, thank you so much. We've cracked it. You've done three amazing films. If you haven't seen them, I mean, they are three classics, and come on,
watch them.
Go and bloody see them. Do it. But where can people follow you if people want to get in touch with you and follow you on your multi-faceted career path?
So I think I'm Ailes Devall on Instagram. I think I am Ailes Devall on Instagram. I forget my name.
That's all right. I will whack it on. I'll whack it on the show notes as well.
And follow me for I say fun stuff when I post.
Yeah, I'll know. Yeah.
But yeah, follow me.
Brilliant. Well, now listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. And yeah, listen, take care of yourself, and I'm sure I'll see you on the set again soon. All right.
Definitely. All right. See you soon. Bye bye.
Bye now.
Bye bye.